What's up? So I decided to shoot a video here today, completely unscripted, and just to start to show and share my journey of what I'm doing right now, and basically what I've decided to do about a month ago was leave the agency that I was working at. I didn't see any further kind of growth opportunities there, and so I've decided to start my own agency. So in this journey of going solo and starting my own agency, I thought this would be a good time to document my journey. And so what I'm going to be doing now is, for the next 30 days and maybe longer after that, but at least for the next 30 days, I will be documenting my journey every single day, setting a goal to accomplish something in order to move my agency forward, and then I'll be documenting that and then sharing that with you guys on YouTube. So if you're just starting your agency journey, definitely follow along. So basically, just to give you a little bit of backstory, so far I've been, since roughly about kind of the beginning of August, mid-August or so, is when I got my first client, which was basically somewhat of a referral. And then soon after that, I got another referral. So I'm currently sitting at 2 clients, but it's I don't want to be reliant on referrals, because if one of these clients leaves or something happens on my end, whatever the case is, something changes, then I'd be starting from scratch with no actual system in place in order to acquire new clients and grow. And so this whole first 30-day journey is really going to be me documenting the process of starting from scratch. If you have some experience in some sort of service or skill set and you want to start your own agency, then how do you go about doing that without relying on referrals? And so what I had in mind was basically going with an outbound strategy. My first step was basically setting up a cold email marketing system. And I know that that's going to be, most people are not going to like that idea, but to be honest, in the very beginning of any business, outbound sales, outbound prospecting is the way to go. It's the lowest cost and most direct and most efficient from the perspective of not wasting time trying to set up your website, trying to set up, because I've done that. I've literally wasted, not necessarily wasted, but fiddled my thumbs for months and even years on a logo for my agency name, and nil is advertising, and I still don't even have a website up for that, and so these are things that a lot of people, and including myself, can get hung up on, with the perfect name, the perfect logo. Literally ask a number of people, if you ask a number of people in terms of the certain names and logos that I've designed, it's been more than a year. So and I'm always doing variations of it, but really it's just busy work. So trying to look like you're a big brand or a big company or a big agency when you're really not. And so it's totally fine to be a one-man band, a solo agency owner, because at the end of the day, there is some advantages of presenting yourself that way, in that they'll have more access to you. But yeah, I think that a lot of people, myself included, can get hung up on the perfect logo, the perfect name, the perfect website, that type of stuff. Whereas with cold email or outbound messaging, you really just got to cut all the fat and basically think about what it is that you want to offer and get yourself in front of as many qualified, potentially interested prospects as possible. So again, this is, I think, this is also, for me, it's an accountability thing. So by documenting my daily work habits and workflows and what I'm doing every single day for the next 30 days, that's going to help me keep myself accountable. Number 2, I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a long time, and if you look, my first video was probably a little bit over a year ago. But a lot has happened since then, and so yeah, now I'm taking a second crack at it and coming back with just a second round at creating content. So this is good for me. This is going to allow me to have something to create content around. And so what better content to create than exactly what you're doing? And basically, if you guys will basically see the ups and downs of it, and which can be a roller coaster. So, and that's I think that's about all I wanted to share on this first video. Number one, accountability. Number two, an excuse to start creating content and getting that ball rolling. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And number three, stop over analyzing the small things and start doing what are called revenue generating activities. And I was literally looking and assessing my activities the other day. And if you were to categorize all the activities that you've done, let's say the day before, how many of those would you consider revenue generating activities? And the way I think about that is, number one, sales. So if you're on sales calls, that's a revenue generating activity in my opinion. If you are creating content like this video, then I would consider that a revenue generating activity. It's definitely a high leverage thing. The ROI might be a little bit slow, but it's definitely a high leverage activity, right? So that's going to create more visibility and inbound opportunities. So creating content would be a high leverage revenue generating activity, in my opinion. Lead generation. So sending out messages, whether that be on social platforms or by email, I would consider that a revenue generating activity. Any sort of lead generation sales activity would be, in my opinion, the top revenue generating activities. And then there's also fulfillment, which is not necessarily revenue generating, but it's sort of like delivering on the promises, right? So that's the struggle with starting out by yourself is you've got to do the lead generation, you've got to do the sales, you got to do the onboarding, the customer service, the administrative work, everything in the business. At the same time, you've also got to deliver and do the fulfillment of your services or products that you're selling. And so it can be a lot at once. And but in my, the fulfillment side of things, in my opinion, I wouldn't categorize that as revenue generating. I'm not sure how, but I would just basically categorize it as non-revenue generating, because you've already generated the revenue that's attached to that fulfillment. And so what you're doing is delivery, fulfillment and operations now. So it's important, but it's not a revenue generating activity. And that was kind of the point of what I was assessing my activities the other day was how many revenue generating activities am I doing? And the more I can spend time on these high leverage activities like sales calls, lead generation, content creation, things like that, maybe even training team members, which again, not revenue generating, but still higher leverage down the road when that is more of a thing, then I think the more I'll be able to grow essentially and have less roller coasters. So yeah, that's what I looked at. So the other day I was basically just busy doing fulfillment and not doing anything related to lead generation, content creation, sales calls. And so that's why I love the fact that I'm doing this audit of my activities and also doing this kind of 30-day sprint on content creation, because that's going to be revenue generating, and this lead generation outbound system that I'm setting up with cold email. So So that's kind of like the context of where I was at here in the last month or so. And so now, we're September 25th, and I would call this day 2. Yesterday was sort of my day 1. Yesterday I basically I wrapped it up today, so it's kind of like late night last night, and I wrapped it up this morning. So we'll just call that day 1, which was yesterday. My goal was to set up a cold email system, and that's what I set up, and I actually accomplished by the end of this morning. And then now for day 2, which is today, September 25th, so September 24th would be my first day actually. So today my goal is actually going to be to open up an account on Upwork, which I hate the idea of doing that, but I actually have a friend that has an Upwork. He's an agency owner, and he recommended to me a couple times to open up an account with Upwork, and I don't know, just something about it, just because it's like a crowded marketplace. You're viewed and positioned as a commodity, and that's what I don't like about it. But it's been maybe like a couple months since he's been recommending that, and the alternative is like creating the funnels and creating the websites and doing that side of things, like the ad campaigns. And it's funny because one of the core services that I'm going to be offering is ad campaigns with Facebook, with Google, and with YouTube. And I really like the idea of being able to use the core service that I'm using to generate leads and results, sales for clients, to be able to use that for myself. But honestly, I think with ad campaigns, like, it's definitely doable on a low budget, but realistically it's more effective with a bigger budget. And so I don't want to like start out by focusing on ad campaigns right now, because obviously startup costs with that and the amount of assets you got to create with that is a lot more intensive. And so all right, I actually got a nice little breakfast. Okay, say hello. This is every day. Say hello. Hola. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay. Working at home as a stay-at-home dad, that is the life. So anyways, I completely forgot where I was at, but yep, that is also part of working at home. Everyday meltdowns. So anyways, where was I at? Okay, we're back. My last recording just cut out, so I'm not sure if there's a limit on this. I'm using Bubbles to record this. It's just like a screen recorder like Loom. But where was I? So the whole thing about setting up a profile on Upwork, that's where I left off. I think that, I never liked the idea of doing that, because it is, again, it just positions you in a sea of other competitors. You're like off the shelf, just another option. But at the end of the day, when you think about it, like, or at least when I think about it, it's not like just because you're not in a marketplace, that's not the case. People have unlimited options. And so really, I need to be using that platform as sort of like a launch pad, like whatever I can do to basically launch pad my agency. I think that's what I'm going to do now. So I think I was a bit idealistic in the past with having resistance to creating a profile on Upwork, and how that kind of positions me. If I just get trash leads and trash opportunities there, then maybe I won't continue. But I think I might as well at least try it. So that's what I'm going to do today. That's actually the focus of like my goal for today, for day 2. is just setting up. That's the one thing I'm going to do today. Is set up a new account on Upwork. It doesn't mean that I can't, create content, right? Like that's what I'm doing. But it doesn't mean that I can't do other lead gen strategies for myself. But I think that's something that like I have to. What's the right way of saying this? My preconceived ideas of getting on Upwork, I have to like get over that and just do it. That's what I wanted to say. And yeah, like I said, even if it doesn't work out, like at least I've tried it. But I can't really knock it until I've tried it. That's the whole thing. So that's going to be the goal for today, like I already said. And in the meantime, like yesterday I did the cold email setup, but in the meantime I actually have to wait like about 2 or 3 weeks, probably closer to 3 or 4 weeks maybe, to actually have the system kind of like warm up. So I really can't even start cold email until 3 weeks from now. So that's why I've got to do other activities and use other strategies in order to kickstart my lead gen efforts. So honestly, I'm probably gonna launch an ad campaign anyways, but I'll just keep it on like super low budgets, just to have like a little bit of omnipresence on every channel. Cold email, you can find me on Upwork. I got to set up a website at some point, but I'll keep that really simple, like a landing page basically. What I'll do is I'll set up a newsletter, maybe something like that. I'm going to do everything basically. But I'm going to keep it like super simple and super like minimum viable product, as they say, right? So I'm going to keep it really simple. And like for the newsletter, what I'm thinking is that it might just be like a wrap up of summary of like what I've done in the last week or in the last month, and maybe just the highlights of that. So I think that can be pretty simple. And then, yeah, anyways, I don't have to go too deep into that. But basically, I'm all over the place right now. I think I've pretty much said what I wanted to say in this video, which was focusing on like the first 30 days here, creating content around the first 30 days of trying to, set up your own lead generation, client acquisition system for yourself, or in my case for myself, so that you're not reliant on the roller coaster of referrals and relying on referrals. Sometimes you can get 1 or 2 or 3 referrals all in 1 month. And then sometimes you won't get any referrals in like a span of 2 or 3 months or 4 months or more. So it can be very, very unstable. And that's why I'm doing this. And that's why I'm setting up this system around cold outbound outreach. So yeah, that's day 2. That's what I'm going to focus on today. It won't take me too long. Tomorrow I'll just kind of give an update as to how that's gone, and we'll go from there. So yeah, if you like this video and this type of like vlog style video, then definitely leave a like and just comment on the video. I definitely want to build up the my audience and viewership on YouTube. I absolutely love it. I've basically learned everything that I'm in over the last 4 years in like media buying, all from YouTube. And so I'm very much a like self-learner, lifelong learner type of, that's like my philosophy with education. It's really, your education starts after you leave school. And that's really where that path of self education and self-exploration, that's where in my opinion, the real education starts. And so very much a big fan of YouTube, and I've learned so much from YouTube, and so that's why, because it's my favorite channel, I want to create my audience here on YouTube. So like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I don't know, first time doing all this YouTube stuff. So and then comment below if you like this style of vlog videos, and if you want to see more. If you have any questions, comment below. I'll be sure to answer them. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.